Really excited to spend a couple minutes just sharing with you what I've been up to. Some of you have seen this, some of you have not. I've got a few slides to share, but I want to say it's just such a privilege to be part of this group and the support that you guys all have for each other, and it's inspiring. So let me share a couple slides. Let's see if I can find my slideshow. Where's it gone to? Here it is. And so without going into, I don't want to go into a heavy slide deck, but let me just give a bit of an update on Project Helix. I've come out of retirement after 10 years to work on this project. I'm super passionate about the possibility of empowering 1 billion people around the world to live healthier longer. Let me just go through a couple little bits and pieces here. The first question I have for people really is, have you found a way to monetize AI yet? Everyone's using ChatGPT. I'm not sure if you've used the new through Meta. You can use the Meta AI and speak to it. It's pretty cool. I might even show you a bit later. But AI is here to stay. McKinsey and Company have estimated 1/3 of all jobs will disappear or be rearranged by 2030. One of the largest analytical companies in the world. And with disruption, there's lots of opportunity. I found this really fun clip I thought I'd share with you. If you haven't seen it, it's kind of fun, but let's play this just for a minute.
Okay, Arthur Engel Worthington Schmidt. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Call me AI.
Great. It says here, AI, that you're looking for full-time work. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. Preferably something 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Wow. So hardworking. I like that. And you've got quite a few skills: content writing, advertising, sales, data analytics, customer support, branding, social media, IT, legal, administration.
I also do art and video content too.
Wow. How fast do you type?
3,000 words per minute.
Well, AI, I gotta say, I really love your ambition. In fact, it seems like you could do the work of 12 people. I just want to make sure that you don't want to come in and try to take anybody's job.
Totally understand. I actually get that a lot, but I'm not here to replace anyone. I'm here to make their work better and their lives easier. So my primary objective is to help the company generate more leads, increase sales, and improve support.
Oh, I actually see that here in your objective: to help the company generate more leads, increase sales, and improve support. Well, I love that you're a team player. Tell me, AI, how much were you hoping to get paid?
I can do everything you're looking for, $3.23 a day, if you can swing it.
You drive a hard bargain. How about vacation time?
No, don't need it.
Benefits?
Never been sick.
Well, AI, given the fact that you can do so much, you can help everybody on our team be better, plus the fact that you work 24 hours a day, I think I'd be crazy not to give you a shot. So welcome to the team. What are you doing?
I'm working.
Can I get you anything? Water or coffee?
No, I'm good.
I love this guy.
So it's a bit of fun, but today we're just at the beginning of what we're going to see with AI over the coming decades. Just as quantum computing evolves, we're going to see, just as the internet has evolved. Sorry, if I go back, from dial-up, if we remember just a couple of decades ago, to today, high-speed connectivity, we're going to see the AI space also grow. And excuse my misspelling of quantum. So disruptive technology equals opportunity. And so where there is disruption, there is. If you think about the turn of last century, when the blacksmith was pounding on an anvil, he or she could have become Goodyear or Michelin if they'd seen the opportunities ahead. We look at the railway owners, who are the wealthiest people in the world, who didn't invest in the airlines. I love this story of Kodak, who invented the digital camera, but didn't launch it for fear it would cannibalize film. And of course, they went bankrupt and are now no longer in the photographic industry, as everything now is used on the phone. Here's the first of the phones cameras on phones. We could have the Discman, which was displaced by the iPod. We could talk about Nokia and BlackBerry and Motorola being displaced by Apple and Nokia. Throughout time, things are displaced by technology, but there are massive opportunities. And the question I like to ask everyone is, would you like to take a peek, just a sneak peek into the future? Here's the DeLorean from Back to the Future. And the population today, 50% of the world population are Gen Y and Gen Z, between the ages of 15 and 35. And if you want to do well in business, and this doesn't matter whether you're in whatever business you're looking at to the future, don't ask yourself what consumers want today. Ask yourself, what will this generation want in the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years? Can you spot the opportunity? From my point of view, and I've been in the health and wellness industry, anti-aging beauty industry for now 34 years, this population, as they age from the median age of 25 to 35 and 45 and 55 and 65 and beyond over the coming decades, anyone who produces products that help people look or feel younger are in a boom industry. We can see about it in popular culture. This is the front cover of Time magazine. How to live to be 100, the science of living longer, new genetic tests that can point to risks, in your future if you want to live healthier longer. The company I've been working with for the last 3 decades is a company called NSE. They're a global leader in anti-aging science. We're ranked the 5th most trustworthy company in the United States by Forbes magazine. They are putting $1 billion, $1.2 billion investment into technology, with companies like Infosys and Claude, Anthropic, Full Power AI, AWS, OpenAI, and more. This is an incredible time to be integrating AI to disrupt this health and wellness industry, which we could probably talk for hours about, really is not working today. We have over 75 scientists and 35 PhDs on staff. They were featured on Discovery Channel in a recent article, DNA, the Next Wave, a couple of years ago. And what they're producing with this $1.2 billion investment is an app. Imagine an app that helps consumers take a DNA assessment to look at what genes that they've inherited and also what gene mutations have come down along the line to see and perhaps predict their future obstacles in the road. Imagine microbiome assessments being able to be ordered, where people can test their gut health. Today, 9 out of 10 people have an unhealthy microbiome. They have what's called leaky gut. And this can cause all sorts of health ramifications if not found and dealt with. Biometric wearable tech. Here is the new Samsung Galaxy Watch and Galaxy Ring, whether you have a Fitbit or an Apple Watch or Garmin. These new biometric devices allow us to measure sleep and steps and stress, heart rate, very soon blood sugar, which will be a game changer to prevent probably the biggest epidemic underway, which is insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Mental and wellness, physical and health assessments. These will measure mental wellness. We're talking about stress and anxiety, sleep, perhaps your memory, cognition, IQ, these types of things. How are your joints on a scale of 1 to 10? How is your libido? How is your weight? How is your energy levels? To get a physical analysis of what people's perception is of where their health's at. And lastly, we've got this pretty cool little device, which has recently been registered as a medical device by the FDA, which uses IoT, or the Internet of Things, to help get data about what's happening inside your body. We've nicknamed this we've nicknamed this the Fat Zapper because it seems to have an amazing result in helping to break down fat and cellulite on the body. You can look at the left and right arms and see which one you think has been used with this little device. It also maps inside the body, just like maybe you sat on a scale and measured your body fat, your visceral and subcutaneous fat, maybe your muscle mass, hydration, etc. It helps to manage pain in the body by relaxing the muscles, and amazing for sports performance. In fact, as a skier, normally I'll get 25 runs on my first day, and then have a few days off for lactic acid, the pain in my legs, I can't walk. This last season, I was getting 37 and 38 runs, about a 40% increase in my stamina on the mountain, and no sore muscles the following day. So quite interesting. All of this data, DNA, microbiome, wearable tech, the IoT technology, the assessments, around mental and physical wellness, and the data that our little well spa is all going to be combined to help create what's called a digital twin. And I thought you might like this little video that just for about 30 seconds explains the possibilities in the future of a digital twin.
In the decades ahead, healthcare will undergo dramatic transformations. Medicine will become more precise. Value will shape care delivery. Patients will become empowered consumers. And digitalization will transform every facet of healthcare. Patients will have a digital twin, a customized computational model of themselves, enabling Dr. Clive to anticipate illness, guide therapy options, and predict outcomes of procedures.
Pretty extraordinary, the potential future of a digital twin. So if you can imagine DNA, microbiome, IoT, connected devices, wearable tech using biometrics, and these self-assessments, as well as our well spa, to create personalized recommendations and personalized solutions for individual customers, customized nutrition for each individual person. This is utilizing a science called epigenetics. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with epigenetics. It was a great article on the front cover of Time magazine a few years ago. Your DNA isn't your destiny. And it revolves around the concept of after the Human Genome Project was completed, your doctor, health professional might have asked you when you went and saw them, is there heart disease in the family? Is there cancer in the family? Is there diabetes in the family? Et cetera, et cetera. We got a little background noise. What some Swedish scientists asked, which was a fascinating question, was if our DNA is predestined, if our health and our outcomes are predestined, then what about identical twins? Identical twins have exactly the same DNA, yet one twin might have a different allergies than the other. One might have different eyesight. One may get a cancer the other does not get. And so what they discovered is these genes that we have in our body have these little switches, and they aren't exactly switches. That's my little simplistic way of explaining it. But imagine that the genes are turned on or turned off. A simple example of this, if you came to my home and got two boxer dogs, Bentley and Stanley, and if you're allergic to dogs, your genes may turn on your immune system and you have an allergic response, itchy, scratchy, sneezing. The dogs leave and your allergic response turns off again. That's epigenetics. Or you go in the sun, and as the sun hits your skin, your melanocytes turn on the pigmentation. That gives you a tan. When you're out of the sun, it turns off again. That's epigenetics. I've got a few gray hairs and some are still dark. What happened? The pigmentation in one of those hairs, follicles, got turned off. What if we could create a plant-based formula that turned the genes back on again? That's the science of epigenetics. And with our epigenetic database, we'll be able to take all this data and create personalized formulas to help people live healthier longer. So imagine optimized nutrition, what foods to eat, what foods to avoid, how to optimize your sleep, how to reduce your stress. These are just a few of the many, many things we'll be able to do with this data to help empower people to live healthier longer. And then imagine customized nutritional solutions, a formula created for each individual customer, not one size fits all. This is Project Helix. Now, there's also an opportunity to monetize this, and I won't spend too much time on this, but if you're interested, please reach out. I know I've talked to a few of you about this, and there's lots of excitement, but in the end, leverage, the definition of leverage is doing more with less. And I love this quote by John Paul Getty, well, not doctor, John Paul Getty, one of the world's first billionaires, where he said, I'd rather have 1% of the efforts of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own. So we will market this to an affiliate and network marketing or word of mouth marketing campaign. People can earn 20% as an affiliate just by recommending the app to consumers. They can also build teams of hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of affiliates and have a profit share. We believe in the future just like everyone has Airbnb, Uber, or Netflix on their phone, they will have our app or another similar app in the future. Now, today, there's no competitors doing this. We have a first mover advantage, but there's no doubt that the future will be driven by AI and healthcare merging together to help empower people. And we're really excited to create the first, and we think one of the most revolutionary options by combining all these different modalities together in our app. Right now, there's a very exciting opportunity, as I said, for visionary people. This is Rogers' adoption curve. In this, they say that 2.5% of people are visionary. They see things before other people see them. 13.5% often are pioneers. 34 are early adopters. We have the 34% of late adopters, and then we have skeptics, or sometimes called the laggards. Right now, there's a unique opportunity to be in front of this amazing wave of opportunity with our project prior to the launch, which we're estimating will be towards the latter part of next year. Right now, they're just working through organizations like the TGA on how to create personalized solutions for each person. In other words, unique formulas per individual, as opposed to a formula being registered by the FDA. Okay, and again, right now we're about a $2 billion enterprise. They believe they can scale to capture 10% market share of the estimated $2 trillion health, wellness, and beauty industry. That's 8 times larger than the cell phone industry and 16 times larger than the computer industry, to give perspective. This industry is predicted to grow to 20 trillion as an industry by 2045, in the next 20 or so years. And right now, we believe we can capture 10%, which would take us from $2 billion to a $200 billion enterprise, or 100x growth in the next coming years. This, folks, is Project Helix. And with that, I am happy to take any questions that I can. Let me stop my share of my screen. I'm happy to take any questions that anybody has. If at all there are any questions, and I'm sorry if I spoke too quick. This is an accelerated learning program.
And you're an accelerated sort of guy.
I got Tim's on the Mexican wave started.
I'm going to start the Mexican wave. So next person in line to me is Ian. So I'm going to go up and then Ian. There we go. Okay. All right. Awesome stuff, Jeff. And I think, if you can't see the potential in what's happening in this space, you really need to open your eyes or die quicker. I'm curious to know, because in many cases this sort of digital twin kind of stuff is awesome kind of in isolation and very kind of interesting in isolation. But what do you see as the kind of integration with the medical profession to kind of make real use of the data that we as consumers of a product like this would need? Because, it's going to take, if I am collecting all my sort of data and then I go down to my GP and they go, what the fuck is all this stuff? It's less useful. Where do you see the sort of uptake from the medical profession, the mainstream medical profession around this?
Tim, it's a great question. So firstly, as a company that creates natural plant-based supplementation, we are not here to treat or diagnose disease. The data that we have produced from this app, all the DNA, microbiome, all the data I talked about is private and protected by HIPAA laws to each individual consumer. That said, consumers do have the choice that they will be able to share. We believe they'll be able to share this data with their healthcare professional, their doctor or healthcare professional. Right now, today, the medical profession, as we know it today, this allopathic medical system, does not or doesn't seem to be interested in prevention at all. They're very interested in whether it's been a vested interest, whatever your beliefs are or not. I believe we have better science, better technology, more clinical research in the last 5 years than probably the previous 50 years combined, as well as around health, wellness, etc. Yet we're seeing accelerated challenges in heart disease, cancer, diabetes, mental wellness, autoimmune disorders. The list goes on and on and on. And so I think there is a movement towards that. That video that I played about digital twin is actually a video from Siemens Health and Ears, and you can go and grab that to see that. That's an example of what we're doing, but I thought it was really interesting to use as a parallel. But I think the future will begin to change. I think that medicine today, as it is needing to evolve from a curative point of view, where it is today. We'll wait till you're sick and then we'll prescribe something for you. My father was a doctor, a surgeon. He died at age 54 of a heart attack. That's why I got involved in this industry initially. He used to joke, why you can't read a doctor's writing is it's code from the doctor to the pharmacist saying, I got my money, now you get yours. And whilst that was a joke back in the 70s, when he was talking about that, that is actually not far from true. And I think that today, medicine is starting to move or making movements towards becoming more a preventative environment. And I think that will definitely be the future. We see that we're going to be an in-between to help keep people healthier longer, so they don't really need to necessarily face the obstacles that they might. So I hope that answers your question. I can't see a crystal ball, but I think it's definitely, this is where the future is moving.
Siobhan?
Yeah, that I love your talk. That was really amazing. Health is really important to me. So I definitely see, AI and health play a big role in our world in the future. I just had a question to ask. How did you find the information of what you think and predict that AI would be able to do? And what is the most beneficial thing to health that you think AI would be able to do? Like the top beneficial thing that you are excited about?
That's a great question, Siobhan. So as I see it, AI is just information. Okay. If we can give AI, and AI can analyze my DNA, the software that makes me unique, or the software that makes all of you unique. If it can look at my microbiome results, if it can look at the biometric data of how my sleep is going on a regular basis, my steps, my stress, my heart rate, perhaps in the future, blood sugar, as I said. If we can look at the data inside our bodies, and if AI can analyze that and compare that, it's really just a mechanism of doing what you might need 1,000 people to do in a matter of moments, can analyze that and give an objective viewpoint, not a personalized viewpoint. There's a lot of very, very talented people out there in the health and wellness industry, but it is their opinion based upon what they know from what they have studied or experienced in their small ecosystem of connections. AI can take all data from all around the world and combine it to create the perfect protocol for each individual. AI in itself won't cure anything. It'll just analyze the data and give the most accurate assessment of what we could do in our lives, what foods to eat, perhaps, what foods to avoid. For someone who might have an allergy, or someone who might have an autoimmune disorder. Gut health linked to brain health, and mental wellness. All these things, I believe AI will play a really pivotal role in the future. Great question.
Yeah, very, very good question, Siobhan. Ian?
Look, I think this is clearly heading in the right direction, but I see a big obstacle. As you said, by many measures, our health, particularly in the Western world, is just getting worse and worse. And I was in America 6 months ago, and I've had the privilege of watching American TV, but you're bombarded by ads from the big pharmaceutical companies. It's capitalism gone nuts, and it's like, do you have a back pain? We go and tell your doctor you want this drug or this drug or this drug, and it's all aimed at what you said, which is focusing on the symptoms rather than prevention. So there must be huge amounts of money tied up in these pharmaceutical companies, who in many ways are going to hate what is going on here, because it's going to impact their bottom line. Sort of like the cigarette companies, like doing everything they could to delay the science or whatever. So I just see that it's a challenge. It's going to be a battle, and I assume that these guys will fight dirty when this comes through.
Well, Ian, I don't disagree with you, and it's I think that the health industry today is a sickness industry, not a wellness industry, and I think it's really about the power of the people. And one of the greatest parts of affiliate marketing or person-to-person communication is that things spread in a way that can't be controlled. It's not controlled by media. It's not controlled by the narrative. It's really controlled by people wanting to share something that is going to empower them. And I think I think the world is ready for that, particularly after the last few years we've had. I won't get Charles started, but that's exactly where we're at. And Charles is having a little grin there. Thank you, Charles. But I think this is where we're at. And so I think it's a pivotal time in history. We'll look back, and I will look back in 10, 20, 30, 40 years and see what happened. But I think that the world is ready and needs more than ever empowerment for wellness, as opposed to waiting until an obstacle happens and then trying to to deal with it. And and we only realize that usually when we get a bit older, but people are getting more and more aware of this now. So great question.
Uh-oh.
Oh, here we got Charles. I'm ready, Charles.
Trouble now, everybody.
No, we're not settling down. We've got you in the room.
So I will put a link. Well done, Jeff. I will put a link, and I interviewed Jeff on TNT Radio, and letting you know, by the way, that TNT will be resurrecting the people behind it as The Pulse. More details to come, but my show will continue. Now I'm going to put you a link to this article, and this is an article called America's Broken Healthcare Diagnosis and Prescription. Jeff is absolutely correct that you must take responsibility for your health. The healthcare system is not a healthcare system, it's a disease maintenance system. This article is crucially important for you to understand why what Jeff is talking about is important. This is written by, let me quote, John Abramson, got a BA from Harvard, then got a BMS from Dartmouth Medical School, and got his Doctor of Medicine, served as a family physician for 22 years, was twice voted best doctor. He is on the faculty at Harvard Medical School for the past 16 years, where he has taught primary care and currently teaches healthcare policy. Okay, you'll see that on here. The point about this, when you read this and understand it, many of you will be horrified, because most people have no idea of how stuffed the American and Australia's almost. And that's why what Jeff is talking about is so important. You cannot rely on the system. And for those of you who want more information, I have bucket loads. I'm reminding you that in the last 3 years, I've run 450 meetings online, all on health and health focused. So I'll put that in the link. And the answer is, and some of you understand the power of those words, take responsibility, but Australians don't. We live in a blame and victim culture. We live in an analgesic society, not a responsibility culture. That thus endeth the sermon. Well done, Jeff.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you, Charles.
Can I just add to my point before? So you've got big pharmaceutical companies at one end, and clearly there's another driver, again by capitalism, to maximize production. And my understanding, bread, which was healthy 100 years ago, some guy in America came up with this way to feed the world, and it's been modified. So there's a whole bunch of people struggle with gluten. The same thing around farming salmon and battery hens, and we'll give them antibiotics. And so the food we're putting in is gradually being poisoned because of to mass produce and to get costs down and to again make mark. And it's like, I guess what you're doing is going to show, well, there's some issues, but there's another challenge then. Do we go back, and how do you go back to the old type of bread and getting organic stuff and yeah. So another big challenge there. And yeah. I haven't got any of those letters behind my name.
You're 100%. You're 100% spot on. And in the pursuit, and I'll give this as an example, parallel to your question. Is that the automobile was created and mass produced as a solution to pollution, because the streets are becoming polluted by horse manure, right?
Oh shit.
And of course that solution caused another problem. And this is exactly what's happened, with our, genetic modification of foods, pesticides, herbicides. I don't think they were intended to harm people. They were intended to increase food production or to create a solution I think it was World War II, what they changed from spelt to the wheat that we have today, which was what changed the gluten and created the gluten intolerance we're seeing today in these generations, and etc. But these unintended consequences of so-called innovations that have long-term created more problems. And I think that's exactly as Charles said, if we can focus on taking personal individualized responsibility, if and it's a big if this app using the proprietary AI they've written can help empower people to know what foods are best for my genetics, what foods to avoid for my genetics, what are the exercises that are right, what nutrients am I deficient in? Can we send a little test tube every quarter to people to measure saliva? Today, they can measure in saliva almost identically everything to what you can measure in a blood test. Your vitamin and mineral counts, your cortisol and your different hormonal levels, your cholesterol, all these types of things, and we can keep people on track. My wife has just been through perimenopause. Her nutritional needs are different today than they were 5 years ago. What if we could create customized solutions and advice to help keep people healthy and nudge them in the right direction, help to modify 1 degree a day or a week until we have it. And for some people, we'll need a 180-degree turn on what they're putting inside of their bodies to help people live healthier. And I just want to share, because I know we're going to run out of time, and there's other things that are more important than listening and talking about this. But I'm not sure if you've all either played with ChatGPT's new interactive voice AI or Meta's one. And I'm just going to show you Meta's one. It's free. You just go to here to Facebook Messenger. You click the little top 3 little lines at the far side here, and you can have a conversation with her. Let's see if she works. Oh, she is working. Fine.
My responsiveness.
So I'm just gonna
Something, but it looks like it got cut off. Please go ahead and finish your thought. I'm all ears.
Well, thank you so much. I want to ask you a question, and I might have asked this to you before, but where do you see the future of an app that could utilize DNA assessments, microbiome assessments, wearable IoT technology, biometrics, to help empower people to live healthier longer using epigenetic science?
That's a great idea. An app combining DNA, microbiome, wearable IoT, biometrics, and epigenetic science could offer personalized health insights and recommendations for optimized wellness and longevity. Potential features include health risk assessments, customized diet and exercise plans, and tailored stress management strategies.
And what about customizing nutrition like supplementation to support people using epigenetics?
Amazing question. Epigenetic-based nutrition customization is possible. Analyzing genetic markers and lifestyle data can identify optimal supplement recommendations, supporting gene expression for better health outcomes. AI-driven platforms can provide personalized nutrition plans, empowering individuals to make informed choices.
Thank you so much for your help.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure to assist you. Have a fantastic day and a healthy future with your epigenetic.
Where's that from, Jeff?
That's,
this is simply Facebook Messenger, Meta. You can get it through. It's just a generative AI model that you can talk to and ask it anything, and it will. Again, this is what I said. Where we see 2 years ago, or just under 2 years ago, when generative AI was announced to the world with ChatGPT, has now evolved within 2 years to a voice model, where you're going to see this go in the future with quantum computing. Is going to be literally like dial-up was with, waiting with that little sound, on the worldwide wait, to what we see today with the connectivity with the internet. And it's exciting. If used right for humanity, this could change the world in so many positive ways. So with that, I just wanted to.
On that parting thought, what's the downside of this, Jeff? We don't know the answer to that yet. We'll discover that.
Well, listen. If you've watched too many episodes of what's it called, the Terminator. I'll be back with Arnold Schwarzenegger. You might freak out a little bit.
Or Dark Matter.
I think like fire, and I've said this over and over again. Like fire can burn you. if used incorrectly, and it can also heat our food and give us warmth. And so we have to respect AI. I certainly believe that. I think that there do need to be parameters around it and safeguards, but used for good, which is what we are intending to do, this can change the world. And that's what Project Helix is all about, perhaps empowering 1 billion or more people around the world to live healthier longer. And so with that, thank you so much for all your attention. I love the questions, guys. And if you're interested in, I know I've spoken to a few of you, but if you're interested in helping partner with us to take this around the world, then sing out. I know Greg's very excited about this, and a few of the rest of you we've been chatting with. So thank you.
Very good. Faye, I can see you waving.
Yeah, can I just say a fantastic, Jeff, and we've had conversations about this as well. But what I say is that people have to take responsibility for their own health and well-being. This is a support system for them to understand why they need to take responsibility for their own health and well-being, because we go to doctors, they prescribe medicines and do all that sort of thing, and we accept that instead of asking the questions and being curious and saying, well, what else is there for us to do? So this is just giving another avenue for people to think about along the way. But the responsibility of our health and well-being is upon us, not upon the medical system, not upon your doctors, not upon the medicines. It's you taking responsibility for your own health and well-being. Yeah.
Good. Thank you, Faye. Agreed. Tim, did you put your hand up again?
Yeah, mate, I did. I mean, Jeff and I had this conversation privately as well when we first connected over Project Helix. But I think the super exciting thing for this technology and the direction it's going is the opportunity to have that really customized health treatment for people. And rather than just the telehealth, 3.5 seconds later, here is a generic antibiotic for whatever that might ail you, which seems to be the default treatment that happens with medical profession now, and particularly with the rise of telehealth. It just seems to be you're there, you don't even have to describe your symptoms. It's like, here's just a generic antibiotic, and then here's the next slightly stronger generic antibiotic. But the opportunity to then have a really customized treatment plan, and almost from if we intersect some other technologies around printable materials, potentially you could go to your cupboard and have your very own printable vitamin that literally you take based on the data that it's feeding back into your system. And that to me is super exciting.
Awesome.
Just a quick comment. I nearly died last year. I was given an antibiotic that ultimately I collapsed at home and finished up in intensive care. I'm assuming something like this would look at my DNA and the properties of the antibiotic, and they would know, rather through trial and error, we won't give him that one again. They would actually proactively know not to do that.
Yeah, listen, just to be clear, we won't interact with medicines or diagnose or treat any disease. That is, we don't seek to move into that field. We cannot do what we're doing today with the controls that the medical fraternity have, that pharmaceutical companies have. We could not do what we're doing. This will be marketed as a program to give information and data to people about themselves. It'll be marketed as something to create a personalized product in a nutritional supplement, plant-based nutritional supplement to support people's health. We won't be going down which pharmaceutical is right for you or not. But I think medicine will go that same way, Ian. And I said that is a video from Siemens, which is a tremendous technology company. And I think that is the future for sure. I think supplementation is going to have advances on that, and it will move the pharmaceutical industries and the medical industry to have to be more interactive as opposed to reactive, more preventative focused as opposed to reactive like they are today. So listen, there's all sorts of exciting things in the future.
All right, I need to draw this to a close. For those that want to have a chat to Jeff, this is the new frontier, and Jeff's the frontiersman. He's leading the way in so many ways. So Jeff, thanks for sharing all that you just shared.